Welcome to Which is Greater,
A bonny day to you.
Today we're looking at the legendary Terra Mystica and the game that completely ripped it off.
Clans of Caledonia.
Weird.
Ripped it off? How dare you?
It's basically an inferior imitation, like your Scottish accent.
Yeah, done a best match the Scotsman's on and expect to get away with it?
Terra Mystica is about literally building an economy.
Placing buildings out provides you with income each round based on what was printed beneath those buildings on your player board.
Actually, yeah, that is the same.
Players will perform one action each turn, continually going round the table until they choose to pass, often because they've ran out of resources. Then everyone will generate income and a new round will begin.
Okay, yeah, that is exactly the same.
The game is played in 6 rounds, during which there'll be bonus points available for doing certain things that round.
Haha, clans is completely different here. There are only 5 rounds. Ha, yeah.
The most important action you can perform in Terra Mystica is the build action, placing these little houses out onto the board. But you can only build on terrain your race can live on, and is within range of something you've already built.
That will not be much of the map.
So instead you'll have to terraform, the most important action of the game.
Each faction has a dial showing how many shovels they'll need to turn a terrain type into their home.
So, as an experienced Terran mystic, I know it'll only take me 1 shovel to turn this verdant garden into a desolate wasteland. I'm not a very good gardener.
But of course, that means directly taking terrain away from your opponents.
The race to grab terrain is intense, and it's likely that a player who doesn't pay attention will be brutally cut out.
Shovels are, of course, not cheap. You'll have to spend lots of workers in the early game, raise yourself up the track by spending priests and money, or take some of the special power actions that give you shovels.
But since these are only available on the main board, expect everyone to be racing for them.
How many resources did you just mention?
5?
In clans, you only need money to build.
Some amount for the type of thing, and some amount for the space you're building it in.
It's so much simpler, leaving you more mental room for competing for space and building your economy.
See, you'll be producing piles of goods each round. Milk and wheat can be converted into even better goods, like cheese, toast,
And whiskey. Frankly, I've already won. Cheese on toast, anyone?
Why does Robin get all the alcohol this series? But I have something better. Magic bowls. Actually, these are just normal bowls. These are your magic bowls!
When gained, power moves between these 3 bowls, eventually ending in the final bowl, where it can be spent.
This makes perfect and logical sense. Power can be used for gaining new resources or using those special power moves I mentioned earlier.
So it's just another resource then?
Yes, but also, no. It's a unique element that offers huge opportunities but requires careful management. It's a system all of its own, but it touches every element of this interconnected game.
Take Terra Mystica's most important action, upgrading. Existing buildings can be switched out for larger ones, and when this happens, each adjacent player can gain power.
This is hugely beneficial and means it's essential to at least be near other players, forcing you together when the building rules encourage you to be far apart.
Meanwhile, the new upgraded building produces something different to what it replaced. meaning you can sabotage your own economy if you don't keep the pace of building and upgrading in check.
But power actions are always there to relieve the pressure where it's tightest. It's this genius push and pull on players' desires set against the web of interacting systems that makes Terra Mystica such a great game.
Yet again, Clan's simpler lifestyle liberates players. Thanks to the emphasis on cash, players can do whatever they like, provided they don't run out of it.
So what about all the resources your buildings will be producing?
Well, these can be bought or sold at the market, Clan's economic centerpiece.
The prices of goods rise and fall as players take actions here, dynamically changing the opportunities available to you over the course of the game.
All this trading is merely a means to an end, completing contracts.
Boring!
Ha, that's where you're wrong.
Sure, it looks like trading stuff in for points, but it's subtler than that. For example, some require meat, which isn't a resource you produce. You need to remove animals from the board.
What you gain from these contracts isn't directly points. It's things like cotton, sugarcane, or tobacco.
The value of which is determined by how much of each has been brought in during the game.
You'll want lots of the rarest import, which means, again, everyone else's actions are affecting your opportunities. Terra Mystica and Clans both have this squabble for space on the map, but Clans has interaction everywhere else too.
Okay now, interaction is not the sole metric of what makes things good. Having your own economic puzzle to solve layered over the heavily interactive mechanics of the main board is one of Terra Mystica's best features. And I'd say that the main board in Terra Mystica is a far tighter fight than that of Clans.
On one or two game turns, maybe. But how often are you really disrupting each other? The terrain rules naturally segregate the map.
To a degree, but with a fair bit of overlap. And the limited amount of building means that your civilizations squeeze past one another, and every hex of that board counts. On top of that, you have the cult tracks
That feel completely tacked on.
Tacked on? Committing a priest to the cult tracks is the most important action of the game.
Being highest on these tracks is valuable endgame points.
Not to mention all the power cycling you get for moving up the tracks, how at the end of each round there's a bonus available for how high up you are, and building temples rewards you with cult moves. It's fully integrated.
Yes, which is why you went the entire video without mentioning it until now.
Yes.
I see. You can't admit that you're wrong. You're part of some Terra Mystica cult, aren't you?
That is a ridiculous accusation.
I don't know where you get these ideas from.
Wait. Weren't we also supposed to be looking at Gaia Project?
Oh yeah. That wasn't me.
What is it? Is it a car?
We're not on the ground floor, Robin. Ah! There's someone out there.
Hello? I hear you wanted another reviewer.
Who is it?
My full name is... But you can call me Chris.
Should I let him in?
No.
I have Gaia Project.
Ooh, okay.
Does this mean we're getting a new host?
Of course not. I've been this host for hundreds of years. Shall I tell you all about Gaia Project? Gaia Project is just Terra Mystica from space.
Did he just say from space?
Players take actions in turn until everyone has passed. You'll be building structures across a hex grid, paid for in ore and credits. These basic structures can be upgraded to more powerful buildings. The bowls of power return to give you special actions for those desperate turns. You can spend knowledge to move up the technology tracks. Oh no, wait, that's just in Gaia Project. The tech tracks are Gaia Project's greatest innovation. Each is a great opportunity to make you more powerful, but you will struggle to do them all. The blue track gives you more knowledge, letting you advance up even more of the tracks. The orange track boosts your income, giving you more stuff at the start of a turn. The brown track lets you terraform for less ore.
Hey, wait, we had that.
The grey track increases the range of your build and terraform actions.
We sort of had that.
Not like this you didn't. Space is big and there's a lot of, well, space between all of the planets you can occupy. Players must either up their technology to reach far-off worlds or spend their precious quantum intelligence cubes. The QRC is an incredibly rare resource. Whilst you can spend them on space moves, they're also needed for the special Gaia worlds that you build on, and they've also got their own action spaces, which can be a big source of points. The green track is all about gaining these QICs, and the final purple track is about Gaia forming. Gaia forming is a special action that is only possible if you ascend the purple track. It lets you build on the special purple planets that are otherwise inaccessible to every single race. But it's not quite that simple. First you place one of your flying saucers on the planet, which requires moving power into the special Gaia forming pool of your power area. Gaia Project has a 4th bowl. At the start of the next round, the purple planet turns into a Gaia planet. Your power is released and your flying saucer sits there until you choose to build on the planet. This may seem like a lot of effort to go to for a planet, but Gaia planets are often rewarded, either with end of the game scoring, end of the round scoring, or with special tech tiles. Sometimes you might ignore them, but in other games they'll be exactly what you need.
Robin was having a go at me for tacton mechanics.
The cult track is tacton. Gaia Project takes the best bits of Terra Mystica and expands them, allowing it to flesh out systems that Terra Mystica hadn't fully explored. What if power could be added as well as removed from the bowls? How does changing the map change the game? What if the cult tracks did anything? By doing that, they created something truly special. An interstellar masterpiece. Is this common attire for humans?
No.
So, it's time for the first Creaking Shells 3-way.
No.
No?
Don't call it that.
Why not?
Yeah, Robin, why not?
Clans of Caledonia, Gaia Project, Terra Mystica, which is greater?
Well, seeing as how both Clans and Gaia rip off the perfect original Terra Mystica, clearly that should win.
How can Gaia be a rip-off when they were both created by the same beings?
But surely the greatest achievement is in creating the core system. I mean, innovating on top of that is a fine thing to do, but surely not as impressive.
That's not necessarily true. I mean, everything is an evolution of what came before it.
The designers had an opportunity to work on the original and refine it.
Refine it? Let's have a visual metaphor for how I feel when I'm playing each of these games.
Oh, well, yes, I would love a cheesery.
I didn't know you spoke my language.
You're basically saying you find Gaia projects too hard.
I'm saying, is it harder than it needs to be? A game has to earn its complexity.
There's something to be said for accessibility too. Far more people are going to enjoy Clans over Terra Mystica and especially Gaia Project.
Are you humans not able to understand a simple children's game like Gaia Project? So easy. Nothing in Gaia Project is more complicated than the corresponding elements of Terra Mystica, but you do have more options. The tech tracks are the main ones, the tech tiles are perhaps more important than in Terra Mystica, and there is more space on the map to cover and the QIC to help you do it.
I'd also mention the factions. It's much easier to grasp that mermaids are good at rivers than it is to see how space dolphins are good at spying.
In terms of the core game, if you understand Terra Mystica, then maybe it's easy to learn Gaia Project, but even then it's terrifyingly hard to master.
Hard to master is a good thing in a game.
Yes, but that if is a big if. Terra Mystica is already heavy. Making it heavier still just puts it out of the reach of even more people. What you want is to make it more accessible for the enjoyment of more players, just like Clans does.
By stripping out and simplifying the punishing personal economy, Clans of Caledonia makes it far easier to make some kind of progress. You can always buy what you need from the market, even if it might not be a super efficient way of doing things, and keeping scoring secret with the hidden contracts stops it being obvious who's doing well.
Clans is a very worthy first pick of these three games. For those who aren't super experienced in complex games, I would definitely recommend it. But there's also something mystical about that interface between the complex player economy and the interactive map elements.
especially when there's all of these different races to play as.
Clans has clans.
Yes, but a single ability hardly compares to the huge scope of player board changes of Terra Mystica.
Which in turn have significantly less interesting abilities than in Gaia Project.
Again, elegance over complexity.
The Scottish motto, apparently.
And clans is just as effective at offering something neat for you to play with.
They're all pretty neat, but as good as it is, Clans is never going to replace Terra Mystica in the eyes of its fans. And for a lot of them, Gaia Project has. The increased variability has dealt with issues of standard openings and plays in Terra Mystica, and the new features and factions add to its intrigue, improving it in every way.
Except the art.
Yeah, you really need to be able to see in the ultraviolet spectrum to fully appreciate it.
Well, that's just because you already love Terra Mystica. For anyone coming cold, Gaia Project is just too much. It only shines in comparison to Terra Mystica.
That's it. Whereas Clans suffers in comparison to Terra Mystica because its core mechanics are just too similar.
You make a compelling argument, but you are wrong. Gaia Project is definitely better. We officially studied this, and in the Jalziab Journal, we've proved it.
What? Give me that.
Matt, are you okay?
Would you like to see the proof of Gaia Project's superiority?
No, it's absolutely fine. In fact, take the grater. Go on, it's all yours. Will Matt survive?
He did look at 9-dimensional game theory. It doesn't seem to have agreed with him. Despite all of my dissections, the human brain is proving quite the mystery.
Did you say dissections?
We're always looking for volunteers.
That's fine, thanks.
So what happens now?
We thank the people for watching and ask them to subscribe.
Thank you, humans.
Sadly, this is the end of the season, but assuming Matt survives, we will be back! At some point.
Do you want me to look into the future and find out when?
Nah, don't bother.